SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome to the course on Circular Economy for Sustainable Buildings. We had seen certain gadgets or contraptions which can aid in circular economy. Let us look at an organization in India which actually tells how much energy efficient a particular gadget or contraption is. And that organization is the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, and it gives us star rated appliances. In today's class, we will see what is Bureau of Energy Efficiency or BEE, why do we even need it, what are the objectives of BEE and its role. Also, let us see the schemes of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. We will understand the meaning of star labeling and labels and standards. Let us also see how to differentiate between the star ratings and the impact of BEE star rating. We will look at challenges and future outlook. What is basically energy? Energy is nothing but the capacity to do work. And there are various forms of energy. We can classify energy as mechanical energy, electrical energy, thermal energy or chemical energy. But when we look at the usable forms of energy, they can be classified broadly like this. Kinetic energy, which is nothing but energy of motion. For us, how is that useful? How does moving objects generate energy? That is wind energy. Then next is the potential energy. Potential energy is nothing but energy that is stored, okay, by means of some other force of nature like gravity or something like that, how we can use it. So examples can be batteries or water in a dam. Then third is thermal energy, which is heat energy which is often produced during energy conversions. And fourth is electrical energy, which is the energy carried by moving electrons which can power certain devices. And then we have already seen we have sources of energy as renewable, which means energy that is replenished naturally, like solar, solar energy or energy from the sun, from the wind, and geothermal energy, energy from below the earth and so on, even moving water. So these are all renewable sources of energy. And there are non-renewable sources of energy which are limited in this world and we cannot replace it immediately once we completely consume it. And those examples are coal, and from coal we get electricity, then nuclear fuels to some extent and other forms of fuels, say from natural gas or oil and so on. So these are all, this is the basics of energy. Now, what is Bureau of Energy Efficiency? So the government of India has set the Bureau of Energy Efficiency on 1st March 2002 under the provisions of Energy Conservation Act 2001. What is the mission of the BEE? The mission of BEE is to assist in making or developing policies as well as strategizing with a thrust on self-regulation and market principles within the framework of Energy Conservation Act 2001. The main objective of BEE is to reduce the energy intensity of the Indian economy. So, we have to reduce our energy intensity, and one of the means is what BEE gives us as policy, guidelines, mandates and so on. What is the vision of Bureau of Energy Efficiency? The vision of Bureau of Energy Efficiency is to improve energy intensity of the Indian economy and in this manner contribute towards a sustainable development of our country. So, this is the vision. Why do we need Bureau of Energy Efficiency? We need Bureau of Energy Efficiency because only through this we can promote energy conservation and reduce demand of energy or electricity. That is why we need Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Also, it can ensure long-term energy security. This is one, long-term energy security. It will improve our efficiency, energy efficiency across sectors. It can lower the costs because if we use less energy, we will be paying lesser for the electricity bill, and it will support India's climate goals, which is very important because we go and make a commitment in front of the world on climate forums or even in COPs, Confederation of Parties and things like that. We make a commitment. So, this Bureau of Efficiency is needed so that we can make our commitment to climate goals by cutting carbon emissions. So, this is why we need Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Also, Bureau of Energy Efficiency drives the adoption of energy efficient technologies. It benefits the economy across the environment and it plays a very important role in our transition to a low carbon economy in a sustainable manner or with sustainable growth. So, these are the main reasons why we need the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So, what are the objectives of Bureau of Energy Efficiency? First is it develops policies and programs so that we can efficiently use energy and also conserve energy by engaging with key stakeholders. The second one is we can plan, oversee and execute energy conservation initiatives as mandated in the Energy Conservation Act. Third is we can lead and provide a policy framework to guide our national agenda or national programs or national efforts on energy efficiency as well as energy conservation. Fourth is we can demonstrate energy efficiency models and mechanisms through various means such as public-private partnerships as per Energy Conservation Act. Fifth is we can establish systems that can measure, monitor and verify energy efficiency outcomes in various sectors and at also national level. Then we can utilize and support from multilateral, bilateral and private sectors so that we can implement energy efficiency and conservation program. Also, we will be able to raise awareness about energy savings and energy conservation amongst the consumer group. So, if you actually see, all the objectives of Bureau of Energy Efficiency are pushed towards these two important things. One is energy efficiency and second is energy conservation. So, all the objectives are pushed towards these two important contributions. What actually BEE does is it collaborates with certain agencies, potential consumers and other organizations that are involved in energy conservation and energy efficiency, so that we are able to optimize the use of existing resources and existing infrastructure. So, optimization is very important, and this enables the Bureau to carry out its responsibility again under the aegis of Energy Conservation Act. Also, this act can provide regulatory authority. What for regulatory authority? To establish standards and labeling for equipment and appliances, developing ECBC, Energy Conservation Building Code for commercial buildings, and setting energy consumption norms for energy intensive industries. So, what happens is the central government along with the bureau, so the central government plus bureau will determine energy value per metric ton of oil equivalent, and commercial buildings with a connected load of 100 kilowatt or a contract demand of 120 kilowatt and above are mandatorily, they come under ECBC Conservation Act. Okay. And also they create a lot of awareness amongst public. This becomes important, BEE becomes important, because if you actually see, every increase in 1 degree temperature setting of our air conditioner will save approximately 6% of your electricity bill. So, instead of, if you run your AC at 24 degrees centigrade instead of 20 degrees centigrade, you will save how much? 6 into 4, 24% electricity, and reduce your power bill by 24%. And you will still feel comfortable, because at 24 degrees centigrade also we do feel comfortable. So, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency sends this kind of feelers or this kind of messages to the general public that you can save up to 24% of your electricity bill by having your AC set at 24 degrees centigrade rather than a lower temperature of 20 degrees centigrade. Then, what are the promotional roles of Bureau of Energy Efficiency? So, they create awareness and disseminate information on energy efficiency and conservation amongst the general public. Then they arrange and organize training programs for personnel and specialists in the techniques and technologies for efficient use of energy. They strengthen consultancy services in the field of energy efficiency. Of course, they promote research and development in the domain of energy efficiency. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency develops testing and certification procedures and also promotes testing facilities. Besides, they also formulate and facilitate implementation of pilot projects and demonstration projects. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency also promotes the use of energy efficient processes or equipments or devices and systems. Besides, they also take steps to encourage preferential treatment for use of energy efficient equipment and appliances. So, they give some kind of subsidies or some kind of brownie points if you are using energy efficient equipment or appliances. Then the Bureau of Energy Efficiency also promotes innovative financing of energy efficient projects. So, if you have a project or if you have a proposal and you need funding, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency will show you the way to get the funding. Then, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency gives financial assistance to institutions for promoting energy efficient use and also conservation of energy, the two key aspects that the BEE is centered around. And then it prepares educational curriculum so that there is awareness amongst the younger citizens of the country who are actually torch bearers of tomorrow. So they prepare a lot of educational curriculum on energy efficient use and also energy conservation. Besides, they also implement international cooperation programs relating to efficient use of energy as well as conservation of energy. So, primarily they work in these four methods. One is the PAT. PAT is nothing but perform, achieve and trade, which aims at improving efficiency in energy intensive sector. So, PAT is for energy intensive sector. And then they also have EEFP, which is Energy Efficiency Financing Platform, and it provides a platform for capacity enhancement of stakeholders related to energy efficiency financing. So, this is financing. Then there is something called FEED, which is Framework for Energy Efficient Economic Development of Fiscal Instruments to Promote Energy Efficiency. So, development of fiscal instrument. And then MTEE, which is nothing but Market Transformation for Energy Efficiency, which aims at accelerating shift towards energy efficient appliances. I will be dealing largely with these only, because this is what concerns architects and designers in a direct manner, though you should know the promotional role of BEE. Let us now see what are the schemes of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So, they have multiple schemes or multiple mechanisms. One is an institutional mechanism which is aimed at strengthening the state designated agency which contributes to State Energy Conservation Fund. That is one. Second is they raise awareness, very important, awareness on energy conservation through either giving awards, energy conservation award. That's why you will see Energy Conservation Day, Energy Conservation Week, all these are celebrated across schools, and they also have painting competitions on energy efficiency or energy conservation for school and college students. Then buildings energy efficiency. So, how do they work? This is very, very, very important for us as architects, because what they do is ECBC is formed under this, which now all architects and designers and civil engineers should be aware of. So, there are codes under ECBC, which is Energy Conservation Building Code. They give us ideas to retrofit old buildings for energy efficiency, and they have residential building guidelines also under this. So, this is the most important sector for us amongst all. Of course, there are other sectors, I will come to that. Then there is transportation sector, where they help in developing electric vehicles and so on. Then there is something called demand side management, which I will not get too much into because it does not directly concern us in that way as architects. This is important. Star rating of appliances. So, there are 10 mandatory labeled appliances. So, as an architect or civil engineer, when you have to select accessories like switches, fans, air conditioners, refrigerators and so on for your client, you should know that there is something called star rating, and you should follow what is the best equipment necessary under the conditions. So, there are 10 mandatory labeled appliances and 13 voluntary labeled appliances. What it means, we will see in the forthcoming slides. Then there is something called National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, which I have already explained to you, under which we have the PAT scheme, Perform, Achieve and Trade. We have MTEE, Market Transformation for Energy Efficiency, FEED and EEFP under this National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. Now, let us see what is this star labeling. What do you mean by star labeling? So, the mission energy labeling is a very cost effective policy tool for improving energy efficiency and lowering energy cost of appliances and equipments. Which appliances and equipments? Some of them are mandatory, some of them are voluntary to be given star labeling. This program has been developed in a collaborative and consensus driven approach, along with active participation from all the stakeholders including users. So, there are these 5 ratings that are given for appliances, which all of you would have noticed in your house. There are appliances which are 1 star and 2 star, which are normally not at all even brought out because they are not to be encouraged. Then you have appliances which have 3-star rating, 4-star rating, 5-star rating, and this is the logo. So, please go home and observe this logo on your refrigerator or air conditioner and so on. So, what is this label that we are talking of? So, a label describes the energy performance in the form of energy consumption, efficiency or even energy cost. So, how does that particular contraption or device or an accessory perform with respect to the energy consumptions? So, labels are primarily given so that when we as consumers buy a product, we are aware of how energy efficient that product is. For example, you can have a comparative label. So, a comparative label will allow the consumers to compare the energy consumption of similar products and factor the lifetime running cost when they make a decision. So, here you see there is a product which they say what happens. So, it says that it has a 3.1 EER, and this is the kind of label. Then you have something called as endorsement label. Endorsement label will provide a certification to inform the buyer that the product is highly energy efficient in that particular category. What is this standard? So, the standards will prescribe limits on energy consumption or minimum level of energy efficiency of that particular product. And these standards commonly encompasses 2 meanings. One is well-defined test protocols to obtain sufficiently accurate estimate and also to align itself with target limits on energy efficiency. Now, let us see what it means to have a 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star and 5 star rating. So, what it means is, if an appliance has a 1 star, then normally that's not how we purchase, but then I'm just saying so that you know. So, with 1 star rating, these are very less energy efficient. They may be budget friendly initially, but over a period of time, because they consume more electricity, leading to higher utility bills. A 2-star rated appliance means it is slightly better than 1 star, but they still consume more energy compared to higher rated models. 3-star rated means this appliances will strike a balance between energy efficiency and affordability, but still there are other models which can outperform this. But a 3-star model will not be a big burden when it comes to energy costs. 4-star model means they are notably better in conserving energy and you can see considerable savings of energy. And 5-star means they are the most environment friendly option in that particular appliance category. Their upfront cost will be high. You have to invest more when you purchase, but over a period of time, because they are so energy efficient, and therefore your electricity bill will come down and more than compensate for the initial cost of that appliances. How do you know a particular appliance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star? So, here I am giving an example of a 2-ton split AC. Of a 2-ton split AC. And what happens when you purchase a 1-star 2-ton split AC? It consumes about 623.56 units and it saves about 908 rupees per month as against a non-rated or unstarred appliance. Whereas if you purchase a 2-star AC, you will consume 580 units, giving a savings of 1186. If you purchase a 3-star unit, there isn't so much of dramatic difference, but what you do is you consume 539 units and save approximately 1185 rupees per month, which is not different from a 2-star device. But when you go to 4-star, there is a huge jump. You save 30 units as compared to a 1-star and you save even 500 rupees per month as compared to a 3-star unit. And as compared to a benchmark 0-star, you save 1633 rupees per month. Whereas if you go for a 5-star rated, your consumption is only 475 rupees, which is approximately 20 units less than a 4-star, and you save 1820 rupees per month. So, this is approximately based on Delhi rate of electricity. The actual cost will vary depending on the state, depending on the time during which the calculation is done and based on the local electricity rates in that particular place. But definitely these numerical calculations, though they may not be perfect to every rupee or every unit and sub-unit, this has been done by BEE. So, it is definitely something which is authentic and the pattern will anyways remain the same. So, what has been the impact of BEE star rating? First impact is energy savings. So, the BEE star rating system has given us significant energy savings throughout the country. Also, by promoting the use of energy efficient appliances, this program has helped us to reduce electricity demand in residential and commercial sectors both. For example, according to the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, star rated appliances have saved more than 300 terawatt hours of electricity between 2010 and 2020, which is enough electricity power for giving electricity to millions of homes annually. Then second is the cost savings. So star rated appliances, they may have the initial cost to be higher, but over a period of time that definitely gives us lesser electricity bills because they are energy efficient. For example, you have a 5-star rated air conditioner that can reduce electricity consumption by 25% compared to a 1-star air conditioned appliance. So, over a period of time, they become very cost efficient also. Very important, which even money cannot buy, is the environmental impact, and the primary reason why I am trying to push all this on you and run this course, the primary reason why you are investing so much time in taking this course, to understand that it is your generation who has to save the planet for all the mistakes that my generation has done. So, the environmental impact is that there is reduced energy consumption, which leads to decrease in carbon emissions, and India's push for energy efficient appliances has really helped to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, aligning with our global climate goals and our commitment to the world. Since energy production in India is largely based on using coal or fossil fuel based, saving every electricity unit means we are using less coal and therefore we are lowering the nation's carbon footprint. Fourth, impact of BEE has been market penetration. So, over a period of time, these energy efficient products are increasingly being adopted in all areas, urban areas, rural area, and so on. So, star rating system has created a dramatic shift where consumers now start asking for labeled products and try to assess how much of energy efficiency or energy conservation or savings in their bills they will be able to get. So, what are the challenges and how do we take this forward? The challenges that we have are, first is consumer awareness. So, this is a big challenge because it's very important that every person who goes to buy an appliance be aware of the consequences of the lower cost of the appliance versus the environmental impact as well as the long term electricity bill he is going to pay. Second is affordability. So, I already said that lower starred appliances normally tend to cost less. So, energy efficient appliances can save money only on a long run. So, the person should be willing to invest upfront for a energy efficient appliance, which is related to our affordability. Third is compliance. So, we have to ensure that industries or commercial buildings or manufacturers, they comply with energy standards which are set by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. The problem becomes in monitoring and enforcing because we need that much of resources and manpower to monitor and enforce, and this needs to be greatly strengthened. The fourth challenge we have is technological barriers. In some industries and region, there is a lack of advanced technology and that becomes a hindrance for us to adopt energy efficient practices. The fifth challenge we have is the building sector. See, there is a big focus on developing energy efficiency standards for residential buildings and improving the ECBC reach amongst all the people. And this has to be done to include more renewable energy options like solar energy, most common renewable energy option. Next is the carbon markets. Now, with the Energy Conservation Act, which is amended in 2022, carbon markets are set to play a big role. So, Bureau of Energy Efficiency will be involved in establishing a robust framework for carbon trading. Next is strengthening and implementation. So, there are penalty provisions under the Energy Conservation Act which are also rationalized, and state electricity regulatory commissions, they have a big role in ensuring compliances. A small example of this is it is illegal to tamper with the electric meter that is placed in our house or in the building. Next is renewables integration. This is a big challenge because this is a huge challenge because the Bureau of Energy Efficiency in their future programs will have to focus on integrating renewable energy sources like solar energy, wind energy, etc. in the energy system, and this will reduce the dependence on fossil fuels. So, finally, we conclude that the Bureau of Energy Efficiency plays a very critical role in driving our energy conservation and energy efficiency initiatives. Through its star rating systems, policies and programs, it is actually helping us to reduce energy consumption, lowering cost for consumers and minimizing environmental impact. So, the importance of choosing star rated appliances is that energy efficient appliances, they help us in reducing electricity bill over a period of time. They also contribute to India's larger goals of energy security or carbon emission reductions. By adopting star rated appliances, which you as architects, civil engineers and designers have to recommend the client, what happens is consumers can make a big difference to the daily lives and contribute to a fight against climate change. So, when many people come together and start choosing energy efficient appliance, we will be all able to make a difference to climate change. So, we should encourage everybody to be consciously picking energy efficient appliances as far as possible, and we should highlight the need for both the consumers and the industries to always participate in energy conservation efforts to create a more sustainable and energy efficient future. With this, we will stop today's class and we will continue next class with another topic. Until then, thank you.